So yeah, man, like what's been going on, you guys? Like, how are we? Does it still feel like Berlin's in the pandemic? I don't know how it feels now versus what Berlin was like before.
It feels way more chill now. It feels like, more fun.
Yeah,
there's shit to do now. It's nice.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. The thing is, like, everything that was open before is open. It's just you have to wear masks at certain locations, but everything's open. Gyms are open, bars are open, kinos are open. Like there's
bowling alleys are open.
Bowling alleys. So it's just like, yeah, once in a while you got to wear a mask. If you're not vaccinated, you got to get tested. But like other than that, it's like pretty. It's not normal, but it's like as close as ever as it's
close as it's been for a long time.
Years, literally years.
Yeah. Is dance clubs are not open? Is that correct?
No, they reopened about a month ago, but
but kind of they're doing a trial.
They're open. It's just there's a limit to 250 people per club.
Right, but they're doing a trial right now where they're opening a few clubs with no masks this time. They're not doing a trial, so they're letting people in when they have like a test before, and seeing if they can go in with no mask, have a good time, and come out with a test as well. They're doing it with a few clubs. I think they're doing it with I think Kit Kat's taking place in it.
Yeah,
a few others. Yeah,
because for the past month or two, you could go in and dance, but you have to spend the entire time, including dancing, with a mask on. So it's like, it's not fun.
So
it's for the hardcore people that just don't give a fuck. So.
Yeah. I could see that's the problem. That's interesting. The Kit Kat Club is open. Just wear a BDSM mask or something. Like
exactly.
It all works out.
That would fit.
Yeah. So I know you guys were just in Mallorca.
Yeah.
I've never been, but I mean, I just hear it's beautiful.
Yeah. Are we? Is this a podcast right now, or are we just chatting?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. We're on the air. Okay, gotcha. Nice.
I'll make it smooth,
Okay. But yes, sorry to interrupt. We did just come back from Mallorca.
We did, yeah.
Beautiful.
It was lovely.
So much fun. Just so relaxing. It was just good to get away from Berlin,
Yeah, it was nice to see something else and to be at a beach and just to do nothing all day except for drink beers and go swimming. It was really nice.
And just amazing food and just great food, just great paella and
so much paella.
Nobody speaking German, just hearing Spanish actually everywhere. So that was nice. By the way, cheers. Cheers. Yes. I don't know if you have anything cheersable, but welcome back.
Nice.
Welcome back to Berlin.
Empty glass.
It's like a fiber powder that I drink for digestion. Really,
Nice.
Yeah.
But I can tell based on looking at you, you look like you're now in Germany.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's just like the kitchen, it looks...
Oh.
The kettle,
gotcha.
I know that's like...
yeah.
It looks German.
I thought you meant him. Like he was looking more German.
You're looking more German now in your facial features.
I have to. It's like it's like an Altbau that I'm in for like a few weeks, and I have to like shuffle past the toilet to get to the shower. It's one of those.
Oh yeah.
One of those. Yeah, those like long narrow hallways that's like 1.5 feet wide. Yeah,
they didn't have toilets in them back in the day.
Yeah. And that's a problem. Yeah, true.
That was a very interesting thing I learned from that Facebook group because I asked, why do the bathrooms all look like this? And that, they didn't even have toilets in the apartments back in the day.
I guess they had like communal toilets somewhere.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
The group said that that was like the courtyard would either be where the toilets were, or
like an outhouse, like a wooden outhouse. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Or in between floors, like in the center of the stairwell, there was like these doors and like.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some buildings have them, and now they're just kind of like janitor's closets, but they used to be the actual.
Man, could you
water
imagine?
Closet? Yeah.
Oh man, that sucks. That sucks.
But if you've like spent any time in a hostel though, it's not that similar, right? Because in a hostel, right, you have that one bathroom for the entire floor.
Right, but it's a hostel. It's not your living everyday situation. It's a little bit different.
Yeah, but I bet back in the day, 100 years ago, even having that one bathroom in the stairwell was like, whoa, this is amazing. We don't have to walk out into the forest outside to go pee.
That's how to wash their clothes, like a washboard.
Yeah.
100 years ago.
So apparently, like in these Altbaus, like the bathroom, if you notice, will always be next to the kitchen because it was like a converted pantry.
Right.
And
they got the access to the pipes. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, but so what's your situation now? You're in a vacay, or you got your own place, or what's the?
So I had an Airbnb for my journey here has been so insane, and like I was supposed to be here like 3 weeks ago or something, and then caught COVID despite being fully vaccinated in Barcelona. My flight was in 12 hours, and like there was this cough going around the hostel, and I didn't need to test, but I like voluntarily was like, I'm gonna be a good person and get tested, and sure enough, I was positive. And
wow.
Yeah, everybody else in the hostel got tested, and multiple vaccinated people got it. So,
wow.
Yeah.
That Delta variant, man, that's a strong little bugger.
I know. And I did have, I mean, beyond the cough, then I had like a fever for 2 days and like a minor cold, but I still feel like I kind of am stuffy and, you know, I don't know if I'm fully recovered or whatever. But, yeah. So that's to say I had to cancel the Airbnb I already had planned and all this kind of stuff, and ended up getting like this last minute super crappy Airbnb for 8 days, and then truly had no idea where I was going to move to the next day. And someone I met out drinking was like, "Oh, my friend just posted that they're actually going to Spain, and they're going to be gone for a month." And so I ended up renting that random person's place.
Oh, beautiful! Yeah, right on.
Yeah. But after this, I have no clue. Like I'm still looking, and it's tough. It's tough.
It is tough, especially right now. It's a really tough time.
Yeah, and things even before now, even a few years ago, it took you 2-3 months to find an apartment. It was just like that's what it was. And now it's just weird. It's just I don't know. I do not. I feel bad for people who have to apartment hunt right now. Like I really hope I don't suddenly just get kicked out of my apartment and I have to apartment hunt, because it just sounds awful right now. Yeah.
It's real encouraging, Geoff.
No, I mean he knows. This isn't a surprise.
This isn't new news.
Yeah.
I've had several people say, which I haven't caved yet and done this, but they're like, find something even if it's like on the total outskirts of the city, so that you just have something, and then you can try to work on getting something in like the ring.
Something better, yeah.
Yeah.
That might not be terrible advice, though.
I think that's great advice. I mean, as long as you have somewhere to live, and then you can actually look when you're a little more relaxed, not thinking about what's going to happen in 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because there's I've met multiple people who are like, oh yeah, I've been in sublets, little 1 to 3 month things for like the last 2 years, just hopping around.
Right.
And that sounds
stressful.
Yeah, I mean, my first 2 years in Berlin, even though it was 10 years ago, that's what my life was. It was just really, I think it was like 8 different apartments in the first 2 years. It was just every 2-3 months. So the thing is, the second I moved into an apartment, I was already on Weggegesucht,
on the hunt,
getting ready for the next one. And you could never settle down. You could never make the apartment your own because you're there for such a short period of time. So you're like living out of your suitcase for a month or 2 months. So it sucks.
It'll get there though. Everyone figures it out in Berlin.
Yeah, exactly. Eventually, some people get just super lucky. Like my friend Prague, he said he just arrived and he got an apartment and it was just done. And then so.
I mean, how you got this place? I don't understand. You got super lucky too.
I know, yeah, it's all about luck. It's not about being better than the other applicants. It's luck, man.
I met. I've just been meeting tons of people because I've just got here, and I'm going out doing comedy and stuff, and I met this woman in Neukölln, and she has like a massive, huge living room, huge kitchen, good sized bedroom, a backyard into the garden with like a patio, all this stuff in the center, like 1 block from Wessestrasse in Neukölln, and. She pays $450. I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
She's on an old school contract. Some of these people get so lucky.
Yeah. Wow. Near Wessestrasse. That's like the best street in Neukölln.
Yeah. She said so. I guess there was a program and it doesn't exist anymore, but that like for low income individuals that you could like qualify to get discounted housing like that. Yeah. So she. Sorry, had a WhatsApp call coming in.
Yeah, I see a little kitty cat.
Little kitty cat.
Oh, can you not see me right now?
No, now you're back.
It was a little cat with its tail going back and forth like this.
Okay.
It was cute.
It's oh my god.
Oh, there's kitty cat again. Hello.
Oh my god. I can't turn my phone into airplane mode because it's connected to. That's how I'm using it as a webcam right now.
Right.
Through Wi-Fi. What the fuck was I saying? I don't know. Anyway, but
Just got your apartment. Okay.
Yeah. They don't ever recheck your income levels. So she has like a great paying job now, but she still got in the low income.
Yeah, I had a friend the same thing, but then they did check a few years later, and she got kicked out.
Okay.
And her flat was amazing. Right in her Koti, which is not an area I like personally, but the apartment was enormous, like 2-floor apartment. But they kicked her out after a while. They said, "You have a solid job now for the past like 8 years. You gotta leave."
Yeah.
I mean, there are these that a lot of people don't know about. There are these housing. I forget the freaking name, but there are these housing associations. I think they're called like Mietvereins or something like that.
Mietvereins, yeah.
Where you pay like a one-time fee. It's like 500 euro or 800 euro, something like that. And then once you become a member, this Mietverein owns like 100 or 200 buildings in Berlin, and these buildings only take people who are members of this Mietverein, and they charge you like 200-300 euro less than what the average market value is, and you could just get super cheap, amazing apartments. And so I know a few Germans who their parents signed them up for these Mietvereins when they were like 2 years old or whatever, just to get them in, and then once they're like 20. They can get these amazing 2-bedroom apartments for 400 euro, whatever, in amazing areas. My friend Nimrod, his girlfriend, was a member of one. And so he's like, oh, God. And so he became a member of one, and he was able to get nice apartments too as well. But a lot of people are turned off because there's this like 800 euro fee.
Right.
But the thing is, like, when you leave the Mietverein, you get the 800 euro back. If it's 10 years later, you get the money back.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What?
So it's this. But the thing is, like,
that's super cool. I had no idea about that.
But the past few years, now there's been such a huge demand that like the waiting list to get on, and a lot of these Mietvereins are now like they're kind of closed the books, if you will, like they're not letting new people in. But up to like 2 years ago, you could just go pay the thing, but the thing is, like, people who had signed up before you got kind of priority over you,
which makes sense.
So the earlier you signed up, the better. But anyways, if people can look up what I'm talking about, I forget what they're called, but they're really amazing, great way to get cheap apartments. But I've never myself been a part of one, just heard people reaping the benefits. So
this could be true.
Sorry, tangent, but
what if I mean, I know you guys obviously have your own. Like, if you were new to Berlin, what area would you want to live in?
You mean, do I know everything I know now about Berlin, or I know nothing about Berlin?
You know everything, yeah.
Yeah, I would be in where I'm at now. I'd be in Prenzlauer Berg.
I'd be where I'm at now in Neukölln. So
yeah, okay, cool.
I'm a big fan of Neukölln. I think it gets a lot of flack that's undeserved. Neukölln is a fantastic Bezirk. And
what's the flack that it gets?
I mean, I guess it's pretty deserved. It is dirty. I guess the thing is, a lot of people, especially a lot of expats, it's not very gentrified yet, especially the area I live in. And I think people want, they want to shoot the cute little cafes and bars.
Genderfied or gentrified?
Gentrified.
Okay, so genderfied.
Oops, gentrified.
There's just no women, so nobody wants to live there.
So yeah, like, you get like a lot of depending where you are, like where I am, it's a big Turkish influence, and a lot of people don't want to have, maybe they don't want the shisha bars on the street, they want a cute little cafe, so it's not super gentrified. So maybe that turns people off. It is a bit dirtier. It's a bit further away from, Mitte and Prenzlauer Berg, but I love it. It's cheap. I love the culture there, and the food's great. I don't know. I like the feeling there. You get a really small community feeling there. It's nice. Like, I know my neighbors, like the people at the Spades. I know kind of a lot of people around there. It's a nice area, but not like a nice area, quote unquote. It's like Prenzlauer Berg is. You know what I mean?
Right.
Prenzlauer Berg's beautiful, and a lot of cafes, a lot of bars, a lot of good things to do. So I understand the appeal of the Prenzlauer Berg. So I think I first moved here, I'd go to Prenzlauer Berg, but I love Neukölln. So
yeah,
right on.
Last night I went. I had a comedy show last night, and then by last night I mean like this morning. I went to like a local like Kneiper, and that was like literally. I'm like, why are they open at like 5 a.m.? There was like 2 people in there, and they didn't speak any English, which was awesome for me because I always just fall back on trying. I struggle.
So you're talking about one of these Eckkneipen, like the old man Kneipas that have been there since the 30s. One of these ones.
Yeah. So I
Stammtisch Kneipe.
Yeah, I'm on right now. I'm on like Allestrasse, like right near Tempelhofer.
Oh yeah, okay.
Oh okay, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like this. Yeah, it's just on the corner, and it's. I guess they just never close. It's kind of open all the time. But yeah, that was like. I mean, somehow I was able to have like a 2-hour long conversation with them in like my shittiest German possible. Like
That's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah. It forces
Plus, maybe you had
to,
you had a few beers in you, so you're feeling a little bit more confident, right?
Yeah.
So, right on.
100%.
That's why I love these small Eckkneipen in Berlin. These old ones that, a 6-year-old woman or man owns it, and everyone walks in. They knock on the table and they walk in, and the beers are like $2.90, $2.50, $1.80, whatever it might be. But the people there are always super duper nice, and you have a really cool community feeling. I love those bars.
Yeah, but there definitely is like the vinyl scratch when you walk in because everyone turns because like usually it's just like the regulars, right? And then when somebody under the age of 50 who they've never seen before walks in, they look and they're like, "What the hell?" But they're like, but in a good way. They're like,
But in a good way. It's not. They're not judging you. It's kind of like, oh, welcome in, and you get in. You're having a really good time with everyone. I love that.
I've had so many where the owner is this old 80-year-old German woman. She comes over and she's like, "Oh my God, it's like Junge." Like she's like so happy there's young people, and she's like, "Will you sign my guest book?" And she's, "Oh, are you hungry? I'll cook you pommes." Like they get so excited that you're in there because they're used to just these regulars that are just like planted
Jeff
there. Yeah.
From the AGDW podcast?
No, I've still never been. You neither, right? I've never been recognized everywhere because why would we be?
Why? I don't know why anyone.
Who knows who we are? Nobody cares.
No one cares.
I had an old podcast like 10 years ago or something, like pretty early on, and I was in a bar and someone. This is the only time this has ever happened, but like someone recognized my voice.
No shit.
Like, holy shit! Like, yeah.
You mean just as you were like ordering beer, somebody just heard that? It's like, wait a minute, I know that voice.
Yeah,
That's Eric.
Yeah,
that's super cool.
It was.
You
cool.
do a very unique voice. I can get that, but that's super cool.
What was the name of the podcast you had before?
It was called Full Disclosure.
Ooh.
It was about sex and dating and all things related to that. And
cool.
Yeah, and then I got sued by a porn company, so I had to end it. It's a
shit. That's a great way to end, though.
It's a whole thing. It was a whole thing. Yeah.
Dude, that's an episode on its own. Shit.
Yeah. Legally, I don't know that I can even say anything about it, but I'm not even in the U.S. anymore. So
that's true. You get extradited for that, I don't think.
You had mentioned something because I do kind of have this. I love Neukölln. I was about to say ABBA, but I have this. I do feel that it's kind of gray and kind of dirty.
Sure. Yeah, it is. Or it can be. Yeah.
That made it so hard. Yeah. Just, I was going to say, during lockdown and in winter, my first Berlin winter, and then in Neukölln, and then it made it tough,
Yeah.
So my question is, what are the greener things in Berlin? Like, I know that there's lakes. I've never been to a lake here. Like, what do you recommend in terms of?
Oh God, there's so many beautiful lakes around Berlin. Wow.
I mean, the lakes. I mean, all the parks. Tierpark, Tiergarten. What's that one we went to? Way deep. Grunewald is incredibly green.
Yeah, the forest over there. It's it's between
even Hassenheide.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but yeah. In terms of lakes, God, there's
Volkspark
Führersheim. I mean, there's Mögelsee, which is great. And there's this really small one I went to. Here, I gotta pull it out. Like, I don't want to I don't want to ram this lake with people, but it's amazing.
In Treptower Park, there's a little lake in there, and you used to be able to swim in it, but when I went earlier in June, we weren't allowed to anymore because of something with the ducks and. I don't know, but maybe you can swim in it now again, but it's super easy to get to, especially from where you're living right now, called Kapfenteich. And it's a super little nice lake. It's not really busy usually. It's pretty FKK friendly if you're into that. And it's like in the middle, FKK friendly. So like if you want to be naked,
Really?
Freie Körperkultur.
Okay.
And it's a super small lake, and usually in the summers, the past few years, I always go there just because I can ride my bike 20 minutes to get there. And it's not the cleanest lake because it's so small, but it's nice.
But I think you still can't swim in it though.
I mean, last time I was there was in early June.
It actually said Lebensgefahr, deadly to your health.
I guess it was duck mating season, and the ducks left a bunch of bacteria in the water, so it wasn't safe to swim in. But hopefully it's cleaned up now. I don't know. I really don't know.
But I'd say Teglersee, which is next to old Tegel Airport. Right next to it is the Teglersee, which is huge, and there's a bike path that goes along the entire coast of it, so you can cycle around. There's a million places to stop and
there's also
swim.
a nice little town. I mean, it's in Berlin, but it feels like a small little town vibe right in front. It's beautiful there.
Yeah, and like there's one other place. It's called Zumtazee, like summer, but with a TER at the end. And it's only it's like a 20-minute S-Bahn ride and then a 15-minute bike ride.
Yeah.
But it's the most quaint. It is the most beautiful lake I've been to in Berlin. Like because it's quaint. It's not overrun by people because it's not in the middle of the town, and the entire lake is just lined by just like this lush forest, and it's really clean. But yeah, there's so many great lakes. I mean, we've been to so many of them. They're so beautiful.
In terms of just green, I mean, just kind of take your bike, mostly areas outside of the ring, you'll find a lot of green. Like even in Neukölln, if you go towards Britz, a little more south past when the U8 stops, keep going down south, down Hermannstrasse, and all of a sudden you're in Britz, which doesn't feel like Berlin anymore. It feels like a small village, but there's a lot of green life there. There's like a big German restaurant, beer garden with a windmill behind it. You're like, this is Berlin. It doesn't feel like it, but it is, and it's super cool. Yeah, a lot of places like outside the ring are just filled with
not that far away either.
Lush greenery.
I mean, like if you got a bike, I'd recommend to everybody, you just take the S-Bahn to Weissensee, the huge lake. Now, you can take a ferry across Weissensee for free because it's actually a BVG run ferry. So
which I didn't know about until this summer.
If you have the normal U-Bahn ticket, whatever, it covers it for free. You can bring your bike onto it. It goes to the other side, and then you can take a bike path from there all the way to Spandau. It's this beautiful like hour and a half ride, just along the shores of the Weissensee and Tegernsee.
Yeah,
really amazing.
It's amazing there. It's super nice.
Yeah, this is one of the things I love about Berlin. Like you really take the S-Bahn 20 minutes out with your bike, and you're in the middle of nowhere, and you really feel like just on your own in this like just lush nature. It's really nice. Yeah,
for sure. Green, Berlin is not lacking on green.
No.
I only have this like Ringbahn perspective that.
True.
So I need to branch out a little.
Get a bike and get out before it starts getting cold.
Well,
no, man. Sorry. Go ahead.
No. That's what I was going to ask. Is I mean, I'm holding off on the bike until I get like some stability in terms of knowing like I don't want to carry the bike around from place to place as well. That I'm moving. But is that the best way you would say to get around Berlin, or do you guys have cars, or
No, cars, and I would never get a car here. I think it's just one, I hate cars in the city generally. I think the city should be car free. I don't like cars. I think the city should be for people, but I'm very extreme in that view.
Yeah, he's very extreme.
I really don't like cars at all in a city. I think bikes are a really great way. I use public transportation most of the time because I live in Neukölln. I work in Mitte. And so I can take my bike.
40-minute bike ride, man.
But it's a half an hour with the train, you know what I mean? So it's quicker.
Calves would love you.
My calves would love me, my butt. So it's quicker taking public transportation. But I think still having a bike is not a necessity.
No.
I'll
go that far. Essential. Like
you think essential? Yeah.
In summertime, I use my bike for everything. Yeah. I take the S-Bahn, U-Bahn rarely, to the point that when I get on it, like it feels weird because it's been months since I've been on it. Like even when I used to work in Charlottenburg and it was a 40-minute ride to work, I rode my bike there and back.
I'm lazy.
It was so relaxing. And it's just, and honestly, it saves you so much time. Like there's so many times where from my house to say from point A to point B, I got to take a tram and then switch to an U-Bahn, right? Taking my bike actually ends up being 10 minutes faster because you skip the whole switch and everything. And also if you have a car, anywhere you go, you're going to be going around for 15, 20 minutes. Trying to find a parking spot. With a bike, you're at your destination. You lock up right in front of the door and you're there, you know. So.
Save the environment a little bit. Yeah, especially in summer, a bike is absolutely necessary. Like, especially like because there's so many parks here. When you meet up with friends at a park, like for example, if we say, let's meet at Tempelhof, you might meet me at the Tempelhof station side and I'll be on the other side, on the Neukölln side. And that's like a 30-minute walk to go across the whole thing, you know.
Yeah,
it's about 2-3K. Excuse me. So like having a bike, especially in summer when meeting up with people, is really nice to have, because there's been so many times where, you know, you want to meet up, but you don't really know where they are. So having a bike gives you a lot of flexibility.
Absolutely, yeah. And thanks to global warming, even in winter, I haven't been putting my bike away. So, you know, it's still warm enough. Like
thank climate change.
How are the so I've lived San Francisco, Chicago, New York. Chicago is pretty rough with the cars, just not having any awareness of bicycles. How is it here in Berlin?
It's okay.
No, I would go far. Like I'd go much further than that. Like normally the average person who's driving a car is also a cyclist. That's the biggest difference. Like people,
That's a good point. Yeah.
people who own and drive cars here, at least on the weekends, they are a cyclist. So like they are very aware when they're turning right to look in their side view mirrors. In the U.S., everywhere I've lived, nobody looks for a bike ever because they're not considering it. And there's so few bikes. The few bikes that are out are people in the spandex who are like they're not actually going from A to B. They're just going on a ride for exercise.
And I guess also here, like there is the bike culture there. So like people are always looking out for bikes generally. And I feel like most people that I know who have had an accident on their bike has been in it from riding in a tram track because that'll really mess you up. Or someone opening a door on the sidewalk of their car and they ran into the door.
Yeah.
But in terms of actually cars hitting them, I mean, obviously every year there are unfortunately fatalities, but at least people I know, I haven't heard anyone ever getting hit by a car. As long as you go by the rules and you go in the bike lane and you when it's a red light, stop on the red light, don't go. So many people on the bikes do go on red lights, and it really pisses me off because it gives everyone else a bad name.
Yeah,
so you're going with like the rules because there are specific bike lights. You don't go by the car lights. There's like
it depends.
If there's a bike lane,
half the traffic you go by the car lights because you are a vehicle. Yeah,
depending on the bike. If there's a bike lane, there are like bike lights specific for bikes as well. So
Yeah.
I think it's pretty safe.
Yeah, I mean, in 10 years of living in Germany, I've been hit by a car once. That's. I mean, no, that sounds. But I mean, 10 years.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's cycling almost daily. If hitting once is not that bad.
And Eric, you might notice in Neukölln the bike infrastructure is not that great.
No,
but in Mitte, Prenzlberg, Friedrichshain, it's much better. But they're making it better in Neukölln. They said they're going to do better. Hopefully, we'll see.
In 10 years, man, you can get on your bike and go down to Tempelhof.
The whole reason I was able to like travel and like wound up eventually here was because like 4 years ago I got T-boned by a Jeep in Chicago and he blew a stop sign and like I knew I was gonna get hit but there was like nothing I could do about it, you know?
Yeah.
And I flew over the Jeep, luckily actually over instead of under. And anyway, 2 years later, got a little chunk of change and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to travel Southeast Asia. It spawned this whole like international kind of thing.
Sure.
So in the end it worked out.
Unfortunately, here, if somebody hits you, they'll probably be covered with their Haftpflicht insurance. So you probably won't get a payout.
No, but it's not unfortunately that the Haftpflichtversicherung pays out. Not
them. That's true. You still get paid, just not by them.
You get the same amount of money. You just don't take it from their bank.
Yeah, fair enough. That's true. That's true. And you have insurance.
I don't care where the money comes from. It just
that's just like the money. Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just want to get paid.
Where do you guys land on the? You mentioned the red light. Where do you guys land on the? Obeying the man with the crosswalk when you're walking.
Wait, what? Geoff hates out of everything about like cultural differences. Geoff hates the Ampelmann. Like crossing the street on a red light.
What are we talking about?
Crossing the street on a red light.
Oh, when you're walking, you mean?
Yeah, when you're walking.
I think it's ridiculous because we're all freaking adults. Like I can look and I can see. No car. Use my ears. Nothing. I'm going to walk. To see a grown person at 2 a.m. standing there obeying this light, it drives me insane. Especially if I'm late. I don't care if there's a bunch of kids around. I'm running over. I don't care if they learn a bad lesson. I got to go. Yeah, I don't care. I don't care if you guys want to stand there for 5 minutes. It's not my deal. I'm late. I'm going.
For me, I wait if I see there's a child like near me or on the other side of the street because I want to, show good behavior to the child. So not running across the street. But generally, I mean, if there's no cars in the street, I'm not waiting. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But it is true. Like Germans, 80% of the time, like they will stand there.
Yeah.
Even if it's the apocalypse and they know nobody else on earth exists, they will wait for that light to go.
I think it's less so in Berlin, but it's definitely more of a thing for sure.
It's true.
It's so surprising to me because this is, I've been to a decent number of like cities all over the world, and this is the only place I've been where they really adhere to that. Like usually, like a big city, it's like, no, screw it. Like I'm just gonna, like
right.
You said, I'm gonna.
They don't care. Yeah.
Hey, we're in Germany. There's rules here.
Well, so and everyone always brings up the kid thing, but when I was here in the winter, and they had like the mask outside on the street mandate, there was a red light, and there was like a woman across the street with a kid. And I was like, I guess I shouldn't go. And then I was like, wait, they're not even wearing masks. They don't obey those rules. And so I was just like, went for it, You don't wear your mask. I don't wait for the red man or whatever.
Yeah, fair enough.
Tit for tat.
I've told this story before, but I think it was like the first year I lived here. it was like, it was late. There's no car. So I'm like, I'm going. And on the other side, it was a woman with her like 5-year-old child, right? So I'm walking across and the child in German like looks at her mom, was like, but why does he get a walk and not us? and the mom, looking me dead in the eyes as she's saying the answer, says, because he's an idiot. And then stared at me. And I almost stopped. Like, the thing is, I was late. If I was not late, I would have stopped and ripped her a new. Because I was like, this is uncalled for. This is so rude. Like, I'm sorry. Whatever you think about me teaching you or whatever, you could have done something else. Like, I don't know. I was also in a bad mood that day. But like, I was like, oh, but I'm late.
As a kindergarten teacher, I agree with her. I'm on her side, Geoff.
It's not an excuse to be mean to other people. Like,
no, fair enough. I know,
dude. At the time, I was like 24, she's 4. Like, come on. Like,
you also want to set a good example for your child, not call people idiots. You can say, we don't know what his situation is. Maybe he's in a rush.
Yeah, you could just be like, oh, maybe he didn't see the light, or there's other ways you could have gone about. But I remember,
for sure.
I think maybe that was like what started my hatred for for the waiting for the Ampelmann.
What is it called? The Ampelmann?
Ampelmann, yeah.
Okay. The light guy is called the Ampelmann.
Yeah, the Ampel is like the light, the traffic light, and then he's like the Ampelmann.
Yeah,
with his hat.
Gotcha.
And I don't know if you noticed, but like in Berlin, there are actually Ampelmann stores where they just sell merch with the Ampelmann on it. Yeah, the freaking crossing light dude has his own stores. It's insane.
You might not see it where you're living now a lot because Neukölln hasn't gotten because they were in the east, the Ampelmann, the cool one with the hat.
Yeah,
and Neukölln still is like it's the normal style from everywhere else. But now they're spreading it through the whole city to have like this cool DDR Ampelmann. But there's stores that you can buy like a shirt.
I want to make a shirt with that man on it, and it says "Don't obey the man," and
I like
wear that around.
I like that.
So, are you guys? I mean, you've been here a long time. Like, do you have a vision of like, are you gonna rest of your life here in Berlin or in Germany?
I think I am for sure. I mean, I just bought an apartment, so like I'm here at least until my mortgage
at
is
least
gone.
for 40 years.
So I'm like 60 years old. But yeah, I definitely plan on staying, and like my girlfriend and I, we don't want to have kids necessarily, but it's still up in the air, but probably not. But I want to live my life here. I love living in Berlin. I love living in Europe. And I just can't. Since I've been here so long now, it's weird when I think about living in the States now. It just feels more foreign to me now than living here does. My mom's not happy to hear that, but that's what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I don't have a set answer. I mean, I never plan on living in Berlin for any specific amount of time. It's just like
10 years later.
But when my 10-year anniversary came, I was just wow. Like I never planned. I was just going to be here for like a year or two, and that was it. And it became that. But I'm never going to say. And I've told my girlfriend since the day I met her, like I never, my plan was never to stay in Germany full time. Like I think at some point I would like to move back to the US. I really miss my family, and missing all these kind of important events and stuff. And I miss the US just in general, once in a while. So, and with Berlin and Germany, I think I think with a lot of people, it's like there's this up and down love-hate relationship for like 3 years. Like first 3 years, oh my God, Berlin's the best city in the world. And there's a moment where like, oh, I'm over this. And then, I love it again. And kind of goes up and down every few years. So I don't know. Like I would never say I would live here full time, but maybe I will end up living here full time. I don't know.
But it's funny because I never had the up and down. I've always kind of been more like, I've been up there. Like I always loved it. And there's always times like this is bullshit. I hate that, whatever. But that's everywhere. But like in terms of the city, I've always been like just up there.
I mean, Berlin has and always will be one of my top 5 favorite cities. Absolutely. I mean, it's the reason why when I lived here and moved away, I was like a year and a half later, I was like, I have to move back because I do love it. But I just hate putting anything in stone because I like to keep my options open. Plus, it's like my whole family is in the US, so I never want to say I'm never going to move back because it would be nice to spend more time with them. So
I mean, in terms of family, that's the most difficult part. I'm going back to the States in October, and by the time I'm there in October, it'll be almost 3 years since the last time I went to the States.
It's insane.
So that sucks.
Wow.
But besides family, I can't see my life in the States or anywhere else really in Europe or anywhere else in the world. Like I really love Berlin that much. So I know for me at least, barring anything crazy happening.
Yeah.
But to be fair, me moving to Berlin was a crazy thing that happened as well.
Yeah.
So who knows what could happen? But my plan right now is actually is to be in Berlin until I'm dead.
Well, and I guess once you buy a house somewhere, it's kind of, you're just kind of stuck. Like, you know,
I mean, I can always sell it, I can always rent it out. There's a lot of options to do. But
probably wouldn't. Yeah.
But I don't want to. I love this place.
Yeah.
That's
I
so
love it
cool.
much.
You got a place, man. I don't know if I know anybody that owns a place in
Thank you.
Berlin. Yeah. Was that any more difficult being a foreigner to make that happen, or not really?
Well, my girlfriend did like 95% of the work. So
And she's German. She's German.
She's
so-
German. Yeah.
So
Probably, but at the end of the day, I don't think it would have made a difference. It was more kind of like, can you pay for it, and do you understand what the notary is saying? And if you don't, we'll get you a translator.
Yeah.
So I really don't think. I think it's different than an apartment, because an apartment you're up to like the landlord's discretion. Where when you're buying something from a firma or like from a place that's selling an apartment, just like we just want the money. That's all they really care about. Of course, you have to prove you have a stable job and all those things. But I really don't think it would be more or less complicated. I think they just want to know you can afford it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
But to be fair, Alex did have the most complicated experience buying a house ever.
True. We also had like
that's
the worst time buying anything ever, because it was like we bought it 2.5 years ago. I just moved in about a month and a half ago. It was a brand new apartment. It was being built, so we bought it before it was getting built. And the what's like the Baufirma, the construction company,
yeah,
was like doing a bunch of shady illegal stuff, and we got to get a lawyer. Like it was a lot. And I think if we just found a place that was available, that was actually physically there, it would have been way easier.
True.
0 out of 10, don't recommend. Well, 8 out of 10, because it was worth it in the end. But the whole process, 0 out of 10, not worth it.
Yeah.
It's worth it, but really not fun.
Yeah. I just had some more questions, a couple more. I was surprised. I don't know if this is normal or not, but did you notice that during the pandemic, I mean, I know we're still in it, but that more places started taking credit cards, or?
Yes.
Yes.
Man, the other
Yes.
day, I was at a bar. I had like a Kneipen, an old man Kneipe, and I paid with cash. And I said to my buddy, I was like, this is the first time I paid cash in a long time. To be fair, I haven't been to a lot of bars recently because I'm trying to stay outside as much as possible.
Yeah.
But most every bar I've been using my phone. It was like a beep payment. And I felt like, wow, look at this. We're modern here in Germany, here in Berlin.
Yeah. Only 20 years late. Yeah.
But yeah, definitely the pandemic brought out, it forced Germany / Berlin to be like, let's be in 2020. Let's be in 2020 now and use actual card payments.
And I think if there's one like positive thing that came out of it, I hope that it's that
it's been
people are
nice.
now up to, because before you'd go to restaurants where you have like an €80 bill and you'd pull out your card and they look at you like you're insane. Like, oh no, we only take cash. Like, what are you talking about? Why would you think I'd carry €100 around?
And
Like,
then you went to places that were like, we prefer only card. And I was like, what? Okay.
but what I noticed during the pandemic, not only is the card usage up, but instead of handing me the machine with the slot for the card, they're handing it now. It started about a year and a half ago. Everyone handed it to me with the beep. What do you call it? The wire
contactless.
The contactless wireless thing, which my card didn't have until I just got a new card now. But so every time. So it actually became a new thing where I had to be like, oh no, sorry, I have a chip. I have to slide it in. They're like, oh,
right.
But the Apple Wallet, just my phone.
Yeah,
but
just
the
fact that is the default was so strange and cool, that people are they're actually allowing this.
Super cool.
Because I was in Russia and for $1.50 they were letting you use cards. So it's just, for here to use for like €40 to have to use cash is insane.
My Späti now allows cards.
Nice.
So that's pretty cool.
That's
luxury.
That's luxury. Yeah.
That's not good, baby.
Another part of this adventure here was that like 3 or 4 days after moving here, my wallet was stolen.
Shit.
Oh
And
God.
it had all my so I still find places that like seemingly only take cash, and I had just gone to the ATM, and because you want to take out a lot so you don't get like the fee.
Right.
I think I had like 240 euros stolen, and then like all my US credit cards, my driver's license, all this stuff.
Fuck.
I luckily had my German debit card in like my phone case. So that's what I've been using. But I was actually pretty shocked the other day in Neukölln. I went to the Edeka, and they were not taking cards. I don't know if that's like just a one-off thing, but
That's a one-off thing.
That's
for
a
sure.
one-off. Yeah, I've never been to a grocery store that doesn't take cards.
That's definitely one-off.
Yeah. Or maybe the machine was broken or something. Like,
yeah.
For
They
sure.
said it was new ownership and that the new owner didn't want to take cards. It's the one right by Tempelhof, or like the circle church looking thing. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, in Chillikitz. I know exactly what you're talking about, on the corner of Hammerstrasse.
Yeah, that Edeka. Yeah.
But that's weird because
What?
Edeka is like a high level like establishment.
Right,
Like, how
but-
could they not take cards?
But Edeka also has the privately owned Edekas where they have like their different names. And I think that one's a smaller privately owned one.
Well, they all have the different names.
All of them do?
Yeah.
Not all of them.
Yeah, I've never been to one that didn't have a separate little name.
I have. The bigger one's just like Edeka.
Maybe you look closely as little.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. That's weird. No, I'm assuming it's one-off thing. Maybe I'll go there sometime soon and check it out. 'Cause that's like a 10-minute walk from where I live.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're down the street from each other, actually. Sounds like.
Yeah. With your podcast, like, I started off like trying to do this American in Berlin thing, and the pandemic made it really hard to like go out and absorb the Berlin culture.
Right, and then you were no longer an American in Berlin.
That's
Right.
that's also that
Last time
part.
we talked, you were in Turkey. So
Yeah. How do you guys like keep it fresh? Or I mean, every week having a different Berlin thing. Like, do you ever?
Oh,
feel
it's
like,
torture.
Is it really like part of like the process? What are we going to talk about?
It gets hard. Like over time,
It's getting harder.
It gets harder and harder because, you're just like. To be honest, after episode 10, we looked at each other. We're like,
We're done.
We've done it all, man. What else can we talk about? And then it was episode 20. And then it was. I think it was more around episode 40, episode 50 that we got really very serious. We're like,
we thought like, we're done.
we're done. But then somehow we scraped together. But yeah,
A lot of it. So like today, for example, before we're talking to you, we were sitting down trying to make some episodes, figure some things out.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is we ask a lot of the people who listen to us, and we're like, please give us some ideas, send us some questions, send us a topic you want to hear about.
Yeah.
We would love to talk about it because it's hard to get out of your own head, especially after you talk about the normal things of the cultural differences, public transportation, housing, all these things. You know, after we stop talking about those things, we had to get a little more creative with it. So that's why we have now like the German Shuffle episodes where it's like random thoughts an episode, or we have the Q&A episodes.
mini topics. Yeah.
So like a lot of times throughout the day when something unique happens to me, I just like write it down. I'm like, cool, I'll put that in a shuffle, or like maybe we can make an episode about that.
Yeah.
But we just episode 74, so it is getting
But the thing is, it's
getting tough.
You gotta just think outside the box because again, like you said, we were so focused on like one formula of like this is what an episode is,
Right.
And then we got to a point like episode 40, something like, hey, there's all these like mini topics that we can only talk about for 5 minutes at a time that we've dismissed because they don't fill a full hour.
Right.
Why don't we just do a full hour of like 10 of those small? Oh, like why can't we do that? Okay, great. And then like, why can't we do a Q&A where people just send in the questions and it like, sure, why not? Like, and we started more and more thinking more outside the box and being like, you know what, this is our show. We can make it whatever we want as long as it's sort of Germany and Berlin related and people are interested. Like,
Yeah.
we just, I think we more pushed ourselves into a corner in the beginning. And then now we're
Right.
like,
and then we ask, we say like, hey guys, do you like this type of episode? And they say yes.
Yeah.
Like, okay, we'll do it again. And like the whole plan was when we started the podcast was to go to like distilleries and go to Oktoberfest and go to all these cultural events in Germany.
yeah.
And then, 2 weeks after we started, the pandemic hit.
Yeah.
And we couldn't do any of these things. Like, well, what are we going to do, Geoff? And so, yeah, we just had to kind of think outside the box and try to be a little bit creative at least. And so far, it's worked. I don't know when we're going to be done. It could be in a month. It could be in a year. I don't know, but
Yeah.
we're still going somehow.
I mean, we always somehow weird ideas get squeezed out somehow. Like, but a lot of times you need somebody else to give you like the nugget or the acorn that grows into something. A lot of times we'll have like a friend who is not trying to give us a topic idea, but they're just talking about something.
Right.
And then we'll be like, dude,
Yes.
how do we not think about that 50 episodes ago? Oh, the perfect idea. Like,
And I guess it's also good to work with two people, like, because
oh yeah, for sure.
there's some days where I have nothing and he has like a small idea that I kind of build off that. He builds off that. So when we talk to each other, it's much easier. I think if I was by myself, I'd be I'd be 2 episodes in and done.
Yeah, I got so much respect for you because
100%.
I mean, like all you can do is bounce ideas off yourself. Like, I mean, so yeah, I don't know how long I'd have lasted. It was just me. Yeah.
Yeah.
So total appreciation for what you do. Because I mean, that's tough. That's tough. What else can you say?
I went from like the pandemic was kind of helpful because I could do this kind of thing, like remote podcast in that way or whatever. And then going back to the States with the time zone shift, and like I didn't really know so many people back because I hadn't lived in California for like 8 years or whatever. Anyway, it just ended up me just like ranting to myself with no guests, like for 15 to 20 minutes. It's like,
but it works. No, like like it works.
Yeah, I just want to, make sure to put stuff out consistently.
And to be honest, like I listened way back when you first moved to Berlin, like your first, I don't know, 5 or 6 episodes. That's what the podcast was. It was you kind of just ranting to yourself, and people were digging it. So I think
it's entertaining. So I'm here for it.
Yeah. So I wouldn't look at those episodes as like less than an interview because like that's what kind of got people going in the first place, right? Where it's just like you at the end of the day going like, you know what? This pisses me off, or at the end of the day, you know what? This I really enjoy. Let me tell you about it. Like,
and it's honest and it's true. So I think people really appreciate that as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thank you.
Sure.
Are most of your listeners, are they people who are in Berlin? Are they people who are thinking about moving to Berlin or Germany? I mean,
I think listeners is kind of split between in Germany and in the States.
It's literally like 50-50. Like last time we checked, it was 50-50 about.
But the people who message us are usually people who want to move. Yeah. So they're the ones asking a lot of questions and want more information. So like when we ask, a Q&A episode, we ask, what do you want to hear about? I think we get a lot more from people who are planning to move than people who are already here, which makes sense.
It could be. I don't know. Lately, we've also been getting a lot of messages from Germans who live in Germany who just listen to our show. Because
over the past few weeks, we got a few of those. Yeah, like I'm German. It's fun listening to things that you think that we do. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, like a lot of Germans who they lived in the States for a year or two, so they kind of got the reverse experience.
Right.
And so they like to hear, well, what do Americans think of my country, and they listen to the show and they write us and they go, oh, I really love the show. It's like, it's so interesting to hear that flip side of the coin or that kind of sort of thing. But I think in terms of just like, if you just go like to straight downloads, it's about like 50-50.
About 50-50.
People who live in Europe versus people who live in the US and who are planning to move to Europe. But oddly enough, like a lot of our listeners like actually follow through. Like, it's like not just people saying, oh, I'm going to move to Germany. Like it's usually they tell us they're going to move. And then like 3-4 months later, they message us back, say, oh, now we're in Germany. We made it.
That's actually like the best. I love when I hear people like ask us questions about things like, oh, I'm planning on moving. And then a few months later, like, hey guys, by the way, I just moved. Thanks so much for the help, whatever. It's like, that's what this is. Like, I never expected this in my wildest dreams that people would actually, have like, we'd have some kind of effect on somebody. And it's just cool to hear people like take, even if it's like some bullshit advice that we give and use it and come over and live and, have a good time.
Yeah, for sure. On that note, if people want to hear some bullshit advice, if people want to listen, listen to your podcast, where can they find it?
Well, we do have a one-stop shop.
What's it called?
And that is AGDWpodcast.com. AGDWpodcast.com. American German Drinking Whiskey. Everything's there. You can find us on Spotify, whatever else.
What's our
Apple
Instagram?
Podcasts.
I don't know the Instagram.
Our Instagram is americans.in.germany.podcast. Yes, that's correct.
Maybe. Yeah.
That is correct.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, you guys, thank you for coming back on and
Absolutely.
Yeah,
always fun.
Yeah.
Neighbor.
Yeah, neighbor.
Romance threw itself off the 30th floor.